I'm Larry O'Connor alongside Brian Wilson.
Right now, joining us on the line is our legal analyst, Joe DiGenova, good friend of this program. Joe, last time you were on, you shocked me. You
dropped a bomb on us as he was leaving.
You completely blew me away.
Sucker punched us.
By saying that you believe that the Redskins should change the name of their football team. Well, we found out this weekend that there's
He's
somebody
got an
out
ally.
there.
Joe, you've got a partner.
You got
could
a
go
friend.
in on
You got
that.
an ally.
Amicus brief.
Somebody who listens.
Is that the president listens
hang
to
on,
your show
Here.
and takes
Hang on.
guidance from yours truly?
Let's play the audio.
Here's the president of the United States.
Let's hear it.
Obviously, people get pretty attached to team names, mascots. I don't think there are any Redskins fans that mean offense. I've got to say, if I were the owner of the team and I knew that there was a name of my team, even if it had a storied history that was offending a sizable group of people, I'd think about changing it.
Well, he's on a team. He's on the team called the Democrats. And,
there you go, Joe.
And sometimes the Democrats do things that offend me, so should they change their name?
Absolutely. In fact, the president, as usual, is leading from behind. He was listening to me last week.
Obviously, that was it.
This is a very simple arithmetic for me. Eventually, this is going to be about money. But let me just make one point. As an Italian-American, I grew up as a young boy listening to people talk about Dagos and WAPs. And I'm going to tell you something. If the Washington football team were called the Washington N-words or the Washington Polacks or the Washington Dagos or the Washington Mix or the Washington Nips, every ethnic community would be in an uproar. But it's amazing to me that the African-American community in this region doesn't care that you can call somebody a racial epithet as long as it's not a black. That's what this is about. When you talk to Native American tribes, that's what this is about. And I've read all these goofy polls about 89% in a poll taken 10 years. The name is not offensive. It is offensive. So all I'm saying is keep doing it. If they want to keep the name over the long haul, this is going to have economic consequences for them. But I tell you one thing. I dislike Dan Snyder more than I dislike the president. So I'm happy to be at odds with Snyder.
You know what's interesting to me, Joe DiGenova, is that you refuse to use the word. I keep hearing you say the Washington football team, because you are objectively saying, in your opinion, that this is a racial epithet. But here's the president. He used it like 7 times in that clip.
I know. Listen,
if he really finds it offensive, why is he using the word?
Listen, he is. Listen, the president is a Chicago-style hack. He's no more a leader than some guy in the stands at the football game. I mean, he's a clown. But I'm not worried about the president. I don't even care what he thinks. Mine comes from experience from dealing with American Indian tribes. It's real simple.
All right. Hey, Joe, let me shift gears for you for a minute. I know that obviously we could talk about the Redskins all day long, and we are going to open this up to the phone lines at 805. We want to hear you comment on it as well. But first, Joe, let me ask you, we are opening up the Supreme Court session. What cases on the docket are you looking at, and what should we be looking at?
Well, to me, the biggest case is the affirmative action case from the University of Michigan. This is big stuff. The Supreme Court, last year struck down the affirmative action program for colleges and said, it has to be very, very limited. It can't be used the way it's being used. And within the last couple of weeks, the Justice Department sent a letter to universities basically saying you can ignore that recent Supreme Court ruling and continue to use race as the primary factor in selecting admissions. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. The Supreme Court is going to hear this new case, and they are going to slap down the Department of Justice in such a big way, and they're going to quote that letter in their opinion. This was so stupid. This is the arrogance of this administration. They couldn't quietly give advice to the universities. They send them a letter on the record telling them literally to ignore a Supreme Court ruling. This coming from the Justice Department. I have to tell you something. If I'm in the Solicitor General's office at the Justice Department and I see this letter, I'm saying, who's the moron who wrote this? Do you know that I'm going to have to defend this? Even the Democrats who voted against the Supreme Court decision are going to be offended by this letter. They're saying ignore the law.
They are nothing if not consistent on this, though,
that is correct.
because if they disagree with the law, they find a way around the law.
Exactly. Exactly. Just like they've done on the government showdown. I mean, it's the same thing.
Well, to that end, Joe, some of the more prominent and respected conservative voices in Washington has spoken out about this, and of course I'm referring
Thank you very much.
I was referring to Charles Krauthammer and our own Brian Wilson.
Yes.
They have said consistently here, why are we blaming the Republicans in the House for using the constitutional levers at their disposal to modify this law when the Obama administration has just gone willy-nilly and decided we're going to enforce the individual mandate, but we're going to delay the employer mandate. Here's my question for you, though. If the House had a problem with what the administration did, and if it was extra-constitutional, shouldn't they have done something about it? What could they have done about it?
Well, they could have sued, which Congresses have done over the years. They could have done
what does that look like? So the House of Representatives, it's like Boehner versus Obama?
I mean, that's one of the... No, you're asking for options. That wouldn't have been my option. My option would have been to repeal the subsidies for the congressional staffers and the congressmen, to legislate a one-year delay and then let it go at that point, and then pass a continuing resolution. I would not have done what they're doing now. However, what they are doing now is absolutely legal and constitutional. It is not extortion. The notion that the president says this is a law, the Democrats, this is a law, it's been passed. Well, laws are passed all the time and they're amended. Our tax code is amended all the time. What are they talking about?
Yeah.
This is idiotic. I mean, it's just
when he delayed his portion that he likes to delay. Is that a violation of the law?
I don't think there's any doubt that the president does not have the authority to suspend an operation of law.
Why in God's name?
There are lawsuits pending against this, by the way. You just don't read about them. The mainstream media doesn't cover them. There are dozens of lawsuits challenging these waivers.
But why didn't the House of Representatives,
why didn't they make this?
Why didn't they go to the mat on this?
They should have. They should have. And I'll tell you something. This is because there's such a split in the leadership and in the membership about this. It's very difficult to lead. I don't want to be too critical of Boehner because, this is a very difficult time for him. He was pretty tough yesterday.
No.
But I mean, I think it's very obvious that the president has acted unconstitutionally, illegally, ultra vires in granting all of these waivers. It's only a matter of time before a judge issues an injunction striking down all of the waivers.
How does this thing get resolved, this government shutdown, in your mind?
Well, one of the ways it's going to get resolved is by people getting mad, and Mount Vernon is the best example. Mount Vernon has been in private hands in the Mount Vernon Ladies Association since 1858, and these SOBs at the Park Service called them and told them to shut down, and the ladies told them in no uncertain terms, you can't shut us down. We're private. So then you know what the Park Service did? They tried to close the roads and the parking lot to it, and it didn't work. People kept coming. This is a time for civil disobedience against this. And it's the Democrats who are the lawbreakers. They are the ones who are the extortionists. It is the president who is the mob leader here, extorting things from the American people. The best thing to do, now that the Republicans find themselves where they are, now you have to fight the fight to the end.
This isn't some damn game.
There you go. Joe DiGenova. Listen, at